Hello everyone. Today we will talk about a 12-year-old boy who is head over heels in love with a simple and beautiful woman. Meanwhile, things become worse for the girl when the townsfolk start spreading rumors about her. Malena, a very pretty woman, is the main character of this story. Renato was the name of a boy who lived in this town. Renato was not even close to Malena's age. He takes the new bike one day and shows it to his friends. His friends say that Malena will go by this way. They all gather in one spot, and as soon as Malena walks by, they all look at her. She holds Renato's attention. He can't take his eyes off of her. He turns around in a corner and looks at her again as she walks by. Malena even makes it into the city, but Renato won't stop after her. Malena's deaf father was a teacher, and these kids were his students. Then we see that these people are in a classroom making fun of Malena's dad by calling her names and being rude. Renato goes to Malena's house and pokes a hole in the wall to look at her. Malena is sad and lies down. This is where we learn that Malena's husband left for the war and hasn't come back yet. Other people in the town, including some of Renato's friends, said bad things about Malena. In recent days, Renato had grown to really like Malena. Renato began to picture himself with Malena. So he could live like an adult even though he was a teenager. He cut his dad's pants and wore them himself because he was too shy to wear shorts. Thus, his father got very mad at him and even hit him several times. But Renato still didn't agree, so he began chasing Malena all day and night like a real boy. Everyone in her house was watched by him. Malena had no idea that someone was watching her, but Renato used to imagine being with her every day. Malena gets the terrible news one day that her husband has been killed in battle. When she hears this, she gets very upset and starts crying. This is when we learn how much she loved her husband. She feels like her life is over now that she knows her husband has died. She doesn't know what to do with this house, so she moves in with her father. In this case, Renato hears from other people that Malena is a woman without any character. Renato thinks it's my job to tell everyone that Malena is not a bad person and that she loved her husband. He thinks that only I know the truth about her. He then imagines being with Malena and tells her not to worry because he is with her, and please let me grow up for a few years. He then goes to the church and tells God, "Taking care of Malena is your job. In exchange, I will light a candle here every day." A letter tells Malena's dad that his daughter is having an affair with every guy in town. "Your daughter is not a good woman. She has no morals." He gets very angry when he reads this and tells Malena to leave because he won't accept her as his daughter. Malena is left by herself once more. When Renato finds out that Malena is living alone again, he makes it a point to visit her every day. Again, one night he goes to Malena's house and sees a police officer there. The way they kissed makes it look like they are having an affair. He feels terrible because he thought she was a good person. He says, "I was also going to tell other people what a nice woman she is." He was shocked. Renato hides in a corner when the police officer comes out of his house. The police officer finds a doctor when he gets out. "For what reason were you inside?" he asks the doctor. "Malena is my woman," the doctor replied. They both got into a big fight over this, and the cops showed up right away. After this, word got around town that Malena was having an affair with a married man, which could get her jailed too as well. When Malena gets really mad, she goes to see a lawyer. The lawyer for Malena wins the case, and it turns out that the doctor was lying. He had nothing to do with Malena. The lawyer tries to get Malena to like him after he wins the case. Even though Malena tries to stop him, she can't. Renato is very angry when he sees all of this. Then we saw that Malena's dad was on a trip when his plane crashed. Malena was very sad when she heard this because she no longer had anyone who could speak up for her. Malena was running out of money because the salary she used to get from her late husband had also stopped because it was proven that he had died. She thinks about what to do a lot, but she can't decide. But after a while, she starts cutting her hair. She says, "Why don't I become a bad woman when everyone else calls me one?" Renato feels terrible and starts to worry when he sees all of this. He was also losing strength and hadn't eaten in a while. After that, we see that Malena has changed into a bad person. She slept with every guy in town. These men's wives felt terrible and were very angry about it. Then those wives come to Malena, severely beat her, and kick her out of the city. Then we showed that Malena's husband has come back. He wasn't really dead. The false information about him had been passed around. He goes back to his house, but Malena is nowhere to be found. He also finds that other people are living there. Plus, everyone tells him that his wife has turned bad and no longer lives here. Even when his friends find out about this, they don't back him up. They insult him a lot. Renato feels terrible about everything that's happened and thinks it's time for me to tell everyone what kind of woman Malena is and how she turned into a bad woman. Malena is not a bad woman at all, Renato tells him in a letter. She has just been made bad. The people around her told her bad things, which made her very angry. The groups she was in made her sleep with guys she didn't know, and then the bad people in this bad town threw her out. Upon reading this, Malena's husband becomes very angry. Then he goes back to get his wife, and we see him walking with her in the same town a year later. But now that her husband was with her, no one was making fun of or being mean to them. Everyone was still looking at them both. If someone had talked about Malena, her husband would have told them to shut up. People in the town began to respect her again. After that, we saw Renato meet Malena one last time. He picked up the fruits that Malena dropped and gave them to her. Then he tells Malena, "I will pray that your future life will be very good." And they are off on their own. Tell us, how was the movie? Please click the subscribe button.